Tourism in India gravitates mainly towards the two elements. One is snowflake beauty, while the other is lush greenery. Both Ooty and Munnar personify their charm because they are embraced with lush greenery. Now that is something you already know or have read somewhere else. What you don't know is the fact that what makes Ooty different from Munnar or vice versa. Hey guys, this is Tania and welcome back to my channel Trip with Tania. Well, there are few parameters or factors that determine which destination to pick over the other one. A handful of factors includes location, how much elevation each one has, weather, season, and best time to visit, cost of accommodation, accessibility, how to reach, travel budget, type of vacation you want, which one has enhanced nightlife, local transportation. So, without wasting much time, let's dive in the topic. Number 1. Location. This is a hill resort town in Nilgiri Hills of Tamil Nadu state. The Nilgiri Hills in Ooty are part of the Western Ghats, which is also a parent range. Ooty was founded by Britishers during their reign and was once the capital of Madras Presidency. Munnar. This is the hill resort town in the Idukki district of Kerala. The Western Ghats in Munnar are the crowning jewel and themselves are a parent range. Munnar was also once the summer capital of British India. It is snuggled at the meeting point of three mountain ranges, Kundala, Nalathani and Mudrapuzla. Then, who is the winner, Ooty or Munnar? Both the hill stations, Ooty and Munnar, are wrapped in South India. And looking from this lens, it is a tie because both the hill stations produce fresh, crisp mountain air. Number 2. How much elevation each one has? Ooty. The average elevation of Ooty is 2,240 meter above sea level. Munnar. The average elevation of Munnar is 1,532 meter above sea level. So, who is the winner? This time, in terms of elevation, Ooty is the winner. There is a whopping difference in terms of elevation, which is around 708 meter approx. Such difference in elevation of hill resort town makes Ooty the winner. Number 3. Weather, season and best time to visit. As we have stated above this paragraph, there is a staggering difference between the Ooty and Munnar. Ooty is around 708 meter approx higher than Munnar and therefore summers tend to be cooler in Ooty. But that doesn't mean you should skip Munnar in the summer. Keep watching to find out detailed information about the weather and season of Ooty to Munnar. Ooty in summer. Summer in Ooty arrives in March and lasts till June. It is ideal for you to visit Ooty if you want to escape the scalding sun of North India or destinations in South India like Chennai. Ooty in summers is when family travelers visit the most to skip the daily life hustles. Ooty in monsoon. Monsoon marks its presence in Ooty from July till September. It is considered the third favorite time to visit Ooty because the whole town gets drenched in the rain. Ooty in monsoon becomes the shutterbug's paradise with lush greenery at every turn. If you haven't encountered greenery in the past, bookmark monsoon months in Ooty. Ooty in monsoon is marked by the heavy tourist influx, mainly backpackers who want cheap accommodations. Ooty in winter. This goes without saying, winter is the best time to visit Ooty in all aspects. You will get to enjoy both worlds as lush greenery is guaranteed and crisp mountain air will kiss you. It is the old-aged couples or newlywed couples who love romancing in Ooty in winters. Munnar in summers. Trekking, afforded jeep safaris, and camping are a few of the few activities hit in Munnar in summers. March marks the arrival of summer and goes up to till June. You can see accommodation prices skyrocketing because family travelers come out to visit Munnar across the nearby places like Kochi or from long distance locations. If you wish to plan your trip to summer in Munnar, tea plantations tours are a must. Make sure you book your accommodation in advance. Occasional rain showers are quite common in Munnar during summers, so be prepared. Munnar in monsoon. Increased amount of greenery is the highlight of Munnar in monsoon. The advent of July till September is the period when Munnar gets drenched in the rain, and shutterbugs find it a place that comes straight out the landscape. The lush greenery of the tea estates or plantations invites amateur or novice photographers. If you do have an affinity for photography, there is no better place in Munnar. And while you are there in monsoon, don't forget to capture the great shots. Munnar in winter. With the advent of October, winter makes its presence in Munnar till February. It is considered the best time to visit Munnar for couples. You could observe the mist-covering green hills. It is also the best time for wildlife witnessing opportunities. Moreover, if you are an ardent lover of water streams, choose to relax amidst the surroundings of the enchanting waterfalls. And yes, winter is when Munnar is embraced with lush greenery. Stunning trekking trails are open, and mornings, evenings, and nights all are equally beautiful. So, who is the winner? There is a tie between both of them, as both of the hill stations are drenched in greenery throughout the year. But if you look carefully, Ooty has a slight advantage of being a little cooler than Munnar, even in summers, thanks to its extra elevation. Number 4. Cost of accommodation. What's common in accommodation between Ooty and Munnar? Hospitality, top-notch luxury, and great views. Accommodation in Ooty and Munnar are the highlight of both of these hill stations. Both of these have a budget for luxury accommodation under their belts, but still, certain aspects differentiate each of them. Continue watching, you will find plenty of common things in both of these places. Accommodation in Ooty. You will find bubble-like tent accommodation in Ooty, which is a new staycation experience. This type of accommodation is inspired by the igloo-shaped transparent tent and is gaining popularity in Ooty for its unique accommodation. Even mainstream accommodation in Ooty could easily be found, including 3, 4 or 5-star properties. Only a handful of unique properties in Ooty are kissed by the tea gardens or plantations. However, each accommodation in Ooty guarantees you the touch of lush greenery in some other way. If you are a family traveler, you won't mind staying in any kind of accommodation because all of them are stunning. Accommodation in Munnar. When it comes to accommodation in Munnar, options might not be as vast as Ooty, but a sense of romanticism is guaranteed. Here, Kerala tourism focuses more on providing transformational travel experiences to guests. especially couples, because most of the accommodation in Munnar is centered around the mountains and enchanting tea plantations. One such cool pyramid-shaped glass cabin staycation in Munnar, India's first glass cabin equipped with Wi-Fi and electricity. Couples can witness the stunning sunset from the glass cabins, a path to erotic arousal. Also, Munnar has more camping options than Ooty, and to be honest, the lush greenery of Munnar excites tourists the most thanks to its less commercialization than Ooty, which got highlighted in the 1990s, and Munnar is still emerging as the finest green place to visit in South India. So, now who is the winner? If we see from the costing point of view, you might find a slight difference between the pricing of Ooty and Munnar. It is because the availability of budget stays in Munnar like homestays are limited. This narrows down the possibilities bar, and thus Ooty has the advantage of budget accommodation for family travelers and backpackers. But if you are planning a honeymoon or a romantic weekend getaway with your spouse, bookmark Munnar, because the extra manicured lush greenery is sure to spark some romance in you. Along with it, the properties that are snuggled amid the rolling tea carpets can elevate your arousal game more than at any other location. Number 5. Accessibility. How to reach. What makes the accessibility of Ooty and Munnar different from each other is the travel. You could reach Ooty and Munnar by road, air or train travel. None of them has its own airport. The commercial airports to Munnar and Ooty are located on their outskirts. However, both of them could be reached via domestic as well as international flights. Road travel to these destinations is possible and is considered a scenic journey. Yeah, keep watching. Ooty by air. Coimbatore International Airport, 87 kilometers per 2.5 hours approx, is the nearest airport to reach Ooty. Outside the airport, you will find transfer options like private or shared cabs. By train. This mode of transport is one of the best ways to reach Ooty if you come from Kannur or Mettupalayam. The UNESCO Heritage Nilgiri toy train passes through thick lush green forests and emerald meadows. This toy train ride is worth taking, which covers almost 46 kilometers, while those who are coming from long distance locations can arrive at Coimbatore railway station, which is well connected across all the major towns or cities in India. By road. This is the cheapest mode of transportation to explore Ooty if you are coming from Bangalore and some other nearby vicinity. Regular mainstream or luxury buses operate for Ooty arrival from Bangalore and Kannur as well. One can reach Ooty from Bangalore on an overnight journey. You could also traverse via private vehicle on NH 209 and NH 275. Munnar by air. Cochin International Airport, 110 kilometers per 3.5 hours approx, is the closest aerodrome to reach Munnar. Outside the airport, you will find transfer options like private or shared cabs. By train. 125 kilometers per 4 hours approx is the time to reach Munnar via train from its nearby and major railhead Ernakulam railway station. Anyone can reach Munnar no matter where they are coming from, because this train junction is well connected to New Delhi, Mumbai, Mangalore and Chennai. By road. Road travel to Munnar is suggested only if you are coming from the nearby towns like Bangalore, Coimbatore, Madurai, Vanad, and Kozhikode. An overnight bus journey will drop you to Munnar from the towns of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Self-driven cars are also a good transportation mode and rejuvenating experience only if you are a novice driver. Taking multiple halts is very important via route journeys. So, who is the winner now? Well, there is no difference in accessibility as both hill stations are easily accessible via all the three means. But Ooty has a slightly higher advantage of accessibility or how to reach because of its enticing toy train ride, also called Nilgiri Mountain Railway. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site itself and thus attracts lots of tourists for its journey. Number 6. Average travel budget Ooty versus Munnar. It is important to spend your money wisely to save money at the time of need. You might be wondering how I would differentiate between the travel budget of Ooty versus Munnar. Well, let me help you. At least thank me later in the comments. Average travel budget for Ooty. Estimated cost of airfare starts from INR 8,000 approx onwards for one way. Estimated cost of accommodation starts at 1,500 INR approx person with 2 times meals. Estimated cost of meals starts at 500 INR approx for lunch. Estimated cost of transportation within the city start at 300 to 1000 INR approx depending upon the mode of transportation. Average travel budget for Munnar. Estimated cost of airfare starts from Rs 8,000 approx onwards for one way. Estimated cost for accommodation starts at 1,600 INR approx person with 2 times meals. Estimated cost for meals starts at Rs 600 approx for lunch. Estimated cost of transportation within the city starts at 400 to 1000 INR approx depending upon the mode of transportation. So, who is the winner? Munnar is slightly costly compared with Ooty. Munnar is a honeymoon magnet, so the average travel budget for Munnar is slightly high. Although the average travel budget for both the destinations varies on several other factors like destination from which you are coming, the mode of transportation you are choosing, the type of accommodation you are finalizing. If you select everything wisely or pre-plan your trip to either Munnar or Ooty with a few things to keep in mind, you will find that both the destinations are near each other regarding total travel cost. Important travel advice when selecting between Ooty versus Munnar. Book a holiday package and compare the cost before finalizing because and look if you are getting meals, accommodation and sightseeing included it in or not. Calculate the round-up air ticket price and if possible, book in advance 3-4 months to get the best deals on airfares. Advice: this is how you will save your hard-earned money and get guaranteed discounts on accommodation and airfares. Number 7. Type of vacation you want. Both Ooty and Munnar provide travelers the rejuvenation they need amidst the lush greenery, but that is not the only factor which can decide which destination you should finalize. Some want to indulge in adventures while some want to pamper themselves with leisure activities. On the other hand, most tourists who flock to Munnar and Ooty are family travelers and honeymooners. So, how do you decide between Ooty or Munnar? Here is the answer. Ooty. Recreational and perfect for family travelers. This beautiful hill station in Tamil Nadu is dotted with majestic blue mountains, picturesque scenery. Ooty is basically a recreational destination in South India, and the greenery here is profoundly green. You could observe it by exploring the myriad of lush green normal and tea gardens. Out of the best family-friendly and leisure activities to do in Ooty, the most admired on is boating fun in Ooty Boat House. Plus, accommodations in Ooty are slightly high end because this hill station got famous during the 90s. Mainly, tourism in Ooty is inclined towards family travelers and leisure travelers. However, it doesn't mean that there is the dearth of things to do in Ooty for couples. It is obvious that what is possible for family travelers could also be enjoyed by couples in Ooty and vice versa. Munnar, best for Ayurvedic touch holidays and beacons couples. Munnar in Kerala is encompassed by serene landscapes where rolling hills are carpeted with verdant plantations. There are large tea estates to explore with your sweetheart, and some of the accommodations in Munnar are tucked in the middle of these picturesque tea estates or farms. In terms of greenery, there is hardly any other destination in India that can outrank Munnar. This is why couples, be it honeymooners or middle-aged couples, are attracted to Munnar. Moreover, the accommodation in Munnar, although it is not high-end as of Ooty, Munnar has one additional element of Ayurveda under its belts, which is known to have originated from Kerala. Therefore, couples or leisure travelers who want to indulge in authentic Ayurveda treatment prefer Munnar over any other destination. So, who is the winner? In terms of greenery, Munnar is the winner. If you consider high-end accommodation, Ooty is the winner. And if you focus more on unlocking pampering vibes amidst the extra greenery, Munnar is the place to go. Munnar is where you will find less crowded and mainly couples, while in Ooty you will find every kind of tourist ranging from backpackers to couples and family travelers. So, the tourism influx in Ooty is higher than in Munnar. Number 8. Which one has enhanced nightlife? Once the sun beats at you for the day, there are plenty of things to indulge in the mountains of South India. But you can't expect dazzling nightlife scenes in Ooty or Munnar because everyone sleeps early in the mountains. Comparing the extravagant and lively nightlife of Munnar and Ooty is not a wise decision. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy the nighty scenes in Ooty and Munnar. If you want to shake your legs on the rhythm of music groups, here is what you should know. Nightlife in Ooty. Ooty is a little bit lively in night scenes because some more high-end resorts and hotels are a destination in themselves. One such example is Taj Sawai Hotel. There is one high-end colonial-era charm-enveloped Canterbury bar, which has classy decors and dim lights. You can enjoy the night scene with your family or friends over Indian and international wines or cuisines. Also, you will get a wide range of mouth-watering food on the menu. You must know that you can enjoy the nightlife in Ooty only at the 4 or 5-star hotels or resorts. Outside permissions get closed after 9 pm approx, and it is suggested not to explore after then as hills could be dangerous because of less lightning on the road. Nightlife in Munnar. You will hardly find any nightclubs in Munnar because tourism in Munnar gravitates more towards leisure tourism, And frankly, nightlife scenes comes nowhere in between leisure tourism. However, there are few resorts where you could relish a dinner with a great ambience at High Range Club, Mountain Club, Camelot Resort. Moreover, if you want to brew a cocktail or mocktail, only a handful of luxury resorts or hotels provide that too in their restaurant or cafe. Munnar is mainly like inviting night crawlers to stargaze and only the homely style cooked food at homestays or resorts. So, who is the winner? Due to the increased presence of high-end resorts or hotels, Ooty gets an advantage in nightlife comparison between Munnar and Ooty. Number 9. Local transportation. Local transportation is the backbone of any hill station from north to south, and Ooty and Munnar are no exception. Radio taxis don't operate in Ooty and Munnar, but one could explore the sightseeing places via auto rickshaw, self-driven car on hire, and bike on rent. You might want to know which destination has affordable or expensive local transportation when compared. So, let me tell you. Local transportation in Ooty. If radio taxis are not available in Ooty, take advantage of several taxi stands in Ooty that provide hatchback and sedan cab services starting from INR 1800 to 2500 approx for 10 to 12 hours of sightseeing for 7 people. Moreover, if you want to save your bucks, auto rickshaw rides are an affordable bet. Local transportation in Munnar. Nothing for couples and leisure travelers comes in the budget, and so does the local transportation in Munnar. You have to shade some extra bucks when it comes to how to get around Munnar locally. Taxis here are a little expensive compared to Ooty. Expect to pay around 2500 to 3000 INR approx for up to 7 people on a sightseeing journey. So, who is the winner? Well, Ooty is inexpensive when it comes to local transportation. The more you are racing your wandering mind and heart about which is better for your next holiday trip between Ooty versus Munnar, the more you are getting confused. However, Ooty was the advantage of being the leader and the first most talked about hill station in India. On the other hand, Munnar has surprised everyone is tremendous. Next, and in terms of beauty, the destination itself grabs in God's own country, Kerala. So, in my opinion, without thinking too much, you can visit both places and gain experience. So, that's it for today. We'll come back soon with another new interesting travel topic. And yes, another important thing. If you like this video and find the informations are useful, please like and subscribe to my channel and turn on bell button next to it. It will motivate me to provide information of new topics. Don't miss any of my videos. Bye.